Hey guys, it's Roscoe and on the Space Couch today. One of the things I was doing during my hiatus time away from the channel was reading a series of fantastic books, which I'm just going to quickly run through with you now. The first one, The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heap by H.D. Parry. This is the same lady who wrote the Declaration of the Rights of Magicians. And in this, the main character has got the ability to basically read fictional characters into actual existence. So like when he's a kid and getting bullied, he conjures up Sherlock Holmes because he reads everything, you know, so he knows all these people. And also the Hound of the Baskervilles and all that sort of stuff. But it turns out someone else is reading people into existence from fiction, and they've got a plan to basically replace our world with the characters and settings of this fictional one. Absolutely fantastic. Set in New Zealand. But some of the characters who are in it is the Artful Dodger. There are 5 Mr. Darcys who all live together, and they're all a slightly different version of Mr. Darcy. There's a couple of Uriah Heaps as well. There's also things like, say, the implied author, which obviously with Uriah Heap is Charles Dickens, so he's in it. Miss Matty from Cranford. There's a lady from a series of kids' detective books, which I didn't know was real or not because I didn't recognise it. She's a main character, all that sort of stuff. And they're living in this little like a little pocket universe. Imagine one of those standard Dickensian streets, you know, the urchins and all that sort of stuff. That only the guy who can read people into existence is able to access, and that's where most of them live. But it was absolutely a great concept. Loved it. Could be a sequel, but the main story is done. But the concept was one I absolutely adored. Brilliant stuff. Highly recommended. And the Declaration of the Rights of Magicians as well. Now, next, The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. Now, in this one, the French Revolution failed, and they're now up to the time of Les Miserables, but characters from Miserables are actually real people in this. So the main character, which is an Eponine, yes, her sister gets taken by the Guild of Flesh, basically, I guess the Prostitutes Guild and stuff, and she wants to get her back, but to do that she has to become the best thief in all of Paris. And she's like breaks into the palace and steals like some special necklace off of the Dauphin in his bedroom. So they actually end up sort of not exactly becoming friends, but knowing each other. Like they'll both turn up at the same place, and it'll be like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" All that sort of stuff. But it's all about the hunt for her sister and all of these different guilds: the Thieves Guild, the Dreamers Guild, the Assassins Guild, the Fleshers Guild. There's a couple of others. Great stuff. Absolutely loved it. Definitely worth checking out. Now this one, it says on here, strong feminist fantasy, and one of the other ones has something similar like that as well. I didn't notice it to be feminist, to be honest. It's just strong, well-written characters, as opposed to that mistake of trying to do strong, well-written female characters. Haven't gone down that route. All of these books are written by women, by the way, and they're all brilliant, and the characters are all very well written in all of them. Next, Nicole Jarvis, The Likes of Prague, and this is about the lamplighters of Prague, who, as well as going around lighting the lamps in Prague at night time and putting them out again, are also monster hunters, and that's their real job, basically. So they're hunting down vampires and other creatures and spirits and all that sort of thing. But there's basically a kind of a bit of a revolution going on in the supernatural classes, which is stratified in class order as well. So you've got your aristocratic vampire ones, down to your very common, very rough. Imagine the ones from the second Blade movie, the vampires, and that's kind of how I imagined the lower class ones. But this one is Dominic. He is the lamplighter, and who is the lady on this? Lady Aura is an aristocrat, and she's a vampire. And they kind of fall in love with each other without knowing what the other one is. And of course, they do find out, and then they have to team up to try and stop this revolution that's going on, that's going to be bad for all sides. But great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. And Prague is always a great setting, you know, the Golem of Prague, famous tale. That's another good one. Now, this, Wendy Darling by A.C. Wise, is absolutely brilliant. This is basically Peter Pan, what happened after. So Wendy, obviously, is Wendy from the tale, but her and her brothers are now grown up. and the brothers want to forget what happened in Neverland. So they end up getting her committed to a mental asylum when they're adults and stuff. Oh, their parents drown on the Titanic as well, so not happy at all. But many years later, when she's an adult and she's out of the asylum and she's got a daughter of her own, Peter comes and steals her away, the daughter. So Wendy has to go and get her back from Netherland. She still has the ability to access it and to fly, because I can't remember what it was. It's always within you. It's something like that. But back to the island, and various characters like, say, Tiger Lily and all that sort of stuff. Peter's basically forgotten that he conjured them into existence, so they're essentially dying and withering away. And loads of other things on the island that's happened to as well. It's all about the nature of what Peter actually is and how to beat him. It was terrific. Absolutely loved this. Highly recommended. All of these books, in fact. But that's what I have been reading. I'm currently well over halfway through Light of the Jedi, which is also fantastic, unexpectedly, in my estimation. And I'll be doing a review of that in due course. But for now, I thought you'd just like to know what I've been reading. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment suggestion for what topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.